Good evening, everybody. It's Cutler here on the Let's Talk to Cutler broadcast. It's July the 22nd, 2021, and I'm only here for 1,800 seconds. So if you're just perusing by, make sure that you stop. I'm only with you for 1,800 seconds. I show up every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 o'clock just to be with you. My channel, this station is all about making sure that we show up tomorrow a little bit better than we did today. Doesn't mean that today was a wash, but it means that we talk about the opportunity to grow and to become and to show up a little bit better tomorrow than we did today. So listen, do me a favor, go ahead and fasten your seatbelt. That's right. Go ahead. And if you haven't done so, please go ahead and subscribe. Click on the notification bell. It lets you know whenever I've gone live. It lets you know whenever I've uploaded new content. I want to ask you this question to get us started. Let me ask you this. Are you in touch with yourself? That's the question of the evening. Are you in touch with yourself? How much do you really know about yourself? Are you codependent? Are you a people pleaser? Are you an attention seeker? All of that kind of stuff. I want to talk about as soon as we come right back. So do me a favor. Tell somebody that Cutler is on air. Tell them you all go ahead and share and like and do all that kind of stuff. The stuff that you do to make me sort of feel good. All right. I'll be right back. But that's what we're going to talk about, all that kind of stuff after this. So tell somebody, come on, let's talk to Cutler. I'll be right back.
Let's talk to Cutler. One more thing, like, subscribe, and share. Come on, let's talk to Cutler. Woo!
Hey, I'm back. Thank you all so much for sharing this space with me. Whatever space you've allowed me to come in, I appreciate it. Whether it's your living room, your dining room, I'm from the South. We do the kitchen. We sit around the kitchen table and talk. So whatever space it is, I want to say thank you so much. And I really do mean that from the bottom of my heart. Whether you're walking outside, exercising, taking an evening stroll, sitting on your back porch, your front porch, whatever it is, thank you all so very much for allowing me to share the space. As I've said before, this station is all about encouragement. It is about motivation. It is about being uplifted. And it's about being challenged to show up a little bit better tomorrow than we did today. All right. And you all know how we do it. We're only here for 1,800 seconds. I try to make sure that I don't waste your time, because time is one of the most valuable assets that you have. All right. That's why sometimes you find me speeding up and talking fast, because I want to make sure that I make wise use of the time that we have here together. I do want to shout out our LTTC VIPs for just a moment, and I'll do that momentarily. But again, let me tell you what we're doing here. Every Tuesday and Thursday, we show up for only 1,800 seconds. And we, as you know, we've been reading from this book, Billboards to Better, 366 Daily Sources of Motivation and Inspiration Along the Highway of Life. This is the 7th book that I wrote, and it's available over on Amazon.com. Do you need it to join the conversation? Absolutely not. But does it enhance the conversations? Yes. Does it give you an opportunity each morning to open the quote and then just marinate on it and meditate on it? Absolutely. So every Tuesday, we'll read the quote from Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Every Thursday, we'll read the quote for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. There's a quote for Saturday. It's my desire that you take that quote and then just go on and share that with someone. Let it be a part of your meditation. Let it be a part of your conversation, but just use it. All right. And then in the book, there are also some extra quotes, some bonus quotes, just for those of you who order the book. All right. I do want to shout out our LTTC VIPs. You all jumped into the chat so quickly, and you all are ready. So I don't want to waste your time, but I do want to shout you all out. So I want to say thank you so much to Wendy Del Val. I think that's Wendy, my friend Wendy from New York. It's good to see you. She says, good evening, everyone. Fasten your seatbelts. Linda Martin says, good evening. Got my seat. Ray Della, my friend Lewis, says, hi all. So it's good to see all of you. And who knows? Listen, I may be shouting out. I want to make sure, my friend Angela W., if this is your first time, make sure that you let me know. I think I've seen you before, but if not, make sure that you remind me and let me know that it's your first time, because we want to say an extra special hi to you. All right, you all. The quote for today: fasten your seatbelts. We are riding along the highway on this place to something to this space that's called better, but we don't want to get there alone. So that's why we're all fellow passengers. All right. So I'm going to go on and I'm going to read the quote. The quote for July 21st, says, maintain your connection to God, even in an area where the signal is weak. Maintain your connection to God, even in an area where the signal is weak. And I know sometimes when y'all see these quotes, you think, what in the world is Cutler going to say? How's he going to pull this one? Is he going to pull a rabbit out of his hat? What is he going to say? But let me ask you all this. Have you ever been riding or driving along while talking on your cell phone, only to discover that you could not hear the person on the other end of the phone because you'd been talking? I know I've been driving along, riding along, just talking, and I kept on talking. Then all of a sudden I realized no one was saying anything back to me on the other end. The signal, I thought, had dropped. And then you realize that you lost connection. So you hang up and you call back and you chuckle about having been talking so long when the signal was weak. But you all, the person that you call back says to you, oh no, I could hear everything that you were saying. You just couldn't hear me. Has that ever been your experience? Let me know if that has ever been your experience. Marcia from St. Petersburg, my friend, good to see you. And the reason why the other person heard you all is because although your signal was weak, y'all hang on, because I don't know if this is going to be a revival, what kind of conversation this is going to be. But again, just imagine you're driving along, riding along, and you're talking and talking and talking, and then you don't hear anything on the other end. You think, oh my God, I lost the signal. You call the person back, and the person says, oh no, I heard everything that you said. You just couldn't hear me. And the reason why the other person heard you is because although your signal was weak, your battery wasn't. Your signal, y'all hang on to this. Your signal was weak, but your battery wasn't. And I've discovered that life is like that sometimes. You can be doing what you do, going about your daily routine, living your best life, and then something will happen that causes you to think that you've become detached or disconnected. So then you disengage for a moment, and when you re-engage, you discover that you never lost your pace. And the reason why you never lost your pace, you all, is because although something caused you to become distracted and to think that you were disconnected, the reality is this. You kept going because you ignored the distraction. You all hang on, you know I'm going somewhere this evening. So I want to remind us all and encourage all of us today, ignore the distractions. Just ignore them. The distractions will cause us to believe that we are disconnected, that we are no longer engaged, that we are not in touch. But I want us to learn how to maintain our connection even when it seems, and the key word is seems, like the signal is weak. Maintain your connection even when it seems like the signal is weak, you all. Isn't it just like God to remind us that although we don't always hear him, he always hears us? So he was the one we're walking along, we're driving along, we're riding along, talking to, and he reminds us that even though you all couldn't hear me, I could hear you. Isn't it like God to remind us that he's put inside of us, you all, the power, the zeal, the fortitude, the vitality, the energy, and the wherewithal to bounce back, even to bounce back, and then to not just bounce back, to keep going, even sometimes we don't want to, when we don't want to. So not only do I want to remind us to ignore the distractions, but I also want to remind us to keep our batteries charged. Keep your batteries charged. And I want to admonish us all to sometimes become selfish about recharging our batteries. Yes, I said that, and I don't mean selfish in a nasty or negative kind of way, but I want us to become selfish about recharging our batteries. Have you ever gotten ready to charge your cell phone? And I know I'm guilty of this. Have you ever gotten ready to charge your cell phone only to discover that all of the outlets were filled by other electrical devices? I know that's me. Yes, I have. And if you're like me, you might go to another room to try to find an available outlet. Or you'll stay in the room where you are and you'll try to start determining which devices can be unplugged long enough for you to get a charge to your cell phone. That's what I admonish us to do today. Get selfish about recharging your life. Get selfish about recharging your life. Cutler, what do you mean? There are some things in your life that can just be unplugged. There are some things that are not as high on your priority list as you are when it comes to your battery. There's some things that can be unplugged which really serve no useful purpose, you all, or they're just running up your electric bill. How many of us got things that are plugged up to these outlets that are just running up our electric bill? Unplug all of that stuff, you all. Unplug all of the stuff that doesn't matter. The stuff that serves no real purpose. And the stuff that's just causing your bill to go up. Unplug all of that stuff. Things that are draining your peace, things that are draining your dreams, things that are draining your hopes, things that are draining your ability to get rest, things that are draining your ability to be creative and innovative and think outside of the box, things that are draining your ability to see the beauty and the strength that reside inside of you. Unplug all of that stuff. And sometimes that means unplugging people. Because I've discovered already, if you have not already discovered this, what you're going to really need is a strong battery, especially in those moments when it looks like the signal is weak. Can you imagine this? If you are riding along, it's one thing to have a weak signal, but a weak signal and a weak battery, that's just a recipe for disaster. Keep your battery charged. This quote is about self-preservation. It's about the ability to hang on. It's about the ability to hold on. It's about the ability to cling fast to your hopes and your dreams, you all, to everything that's inside your heart and inside of your life. It's about knowing that you're worth fighting for. You've got to know that you're worth fighting for. So ignore the distractions and keep your battery charged. Because you're going to need to maintain the connection, you all, even when it seems like the signal is weak. Keep your battery charged. So even if you go through a weak signal, you got a full battery. And may I suggest to you this, that you not only maintain a connection with God, that is so important, but you also maintain a connection with yourself. Don't get so caught up in the lives of other people until you lose yourself. May I say that again? Don't get so caught up in the lives of other people until you lose yourself. There are lots of people who are going to, or should I say probably going to, therapy because they have lost themselves in the lives of other people. I ask you, how well do you know yourself? What do you know about yourself? Your people pleasing is real. And counseling helps. I say that with all sincerity. Codependency is real, and therapy helps. If every time you are engaged in a conversation, you somehow reroute the conversation back to one or two people in your life, you might be losing yourself in them, and you might be becoming codependent. You all know it's about transparency for me. Life has taught me that as I strive to maintain a connection with God, the next most important person that I maintain a connection with is myself. That's why in this book, one of these books, I wrote this poem. About I like me. And it says, I'm uniquely me and distinctly me. I find nothing wrong with me usually. I can laugh at me and cry for me. I can chuckle with me and giggle in spite of me. I can even dance with me and sing for me. I would offer you me today, but I'll give me to me right now because I'm the only me that I have and I really want to keep me. You've got to like yourself enough to maintain a connection with you. So the very next person that's most important to maintain a relation with or connection with after God is yourself. Maintain a connection with yourself. Don't be so codependent. Don't be such a people pleaser until you lose yourself in the lives of other people. Yes, unplug from the distractions, keep your battery charged, and stay connected to your lifeline. All right. We are reading quotes from this book right here, Billboards to Better, 366 Daily Sources of Motivation and Inspiration Along the Highway of Life. Because I want us all to arrive at this space and this place that's called better. All right. And we're doing it together. We are fellow passengers along the highway. Have you all shared this? Make sure you share it and invite somebody else to come along. And if you haven't done so, please go ahead and do a thumbs up on the conversation. It says to YouTube, I kind of like what that guy's talking about. But more than that, it says to me, Cutler, I'm encouraged by our time together, by these 1800 seconds. I want to go on to our quote for July 22nd. And it says, if you really want to impress God with your giving, give him your heart. Hang on. If you really want to impress God with your giving, then give him your heart. So that poem was in my first book. It was in my first book, If Words Could Speak. All right. This particular quote, you all, if you really want to impress God with your giving, then give him your heart. This quote is so jam-packed with a lot of stuff. So I want to see if I can sort of unpeel it for just a moment. It's about learning. This quote is about learning to prioritize. It's about recognizing what truly makes you valuable. It's about setting yourself free from being a people pleaser. It really is. And it's about not just doing things to get attention. It's about not just doing things to get attention. There is a passage in the scriptures, you all. It talks about people who pray to be heard and people who give to be seen. Scripture says that if you pray to be heard by men and women, then when people hear you, that's your reward. You're not really praying for God to hear you, so you don't look for the true essence of the reward of prayer or meditation. And if you give just to be seen, then your reward is granted when people recognize you and acknowledge you for giving. But this quote, you all, reminds me that people who do things like that, they seem to be doing things just to be seen. And I get it. That might be the case for a whole lot of people, you all. But I want to take this quote somewhere else, because before we generalize and jump down their throats and make them seem what I call just evil and bad and nefarious and demonic and all of those things, let's consider what might be going on. I know it looks like they are attention getters, and I know they need to reprioritize and see the big picture and discover what's most important. I get that. But might they be like that because their life and their experiences and their examples taught them that the things in their hand are more valuable than the stuff in their heart? Maybe just maybe, they have had the kind of circumstances and situations that never caused them to see the beauty within or the true value that they have inside. And I'm not making excuses for anybody. That's not what I'm doing. I'm not making excuses for anybody, but I just want us to examine the whole picture. I want us to think about maybe, the young men and the young women who are selling their bodies on the streets because maybe no one ever taught them that what's inside their heart is more valuable than what's inside their pants or what's inside their skirts. And I'm not making excuses. You all know I like to present the scenario and show us a different way of thinking. Because I know how we sometimes see life from our own situated perspectives. And then we will hold people hostage based on our experiences and experiences that they never had. So I know the quote seems to speak to those who are attention getters. I know it does. But I want it to also speak to those of us who sometimes stand afar off and we develop our own narratives about the lives of others whose shoes we've never stood in. That's why I wrote this one poem. I wrote another poem. And I think that one is in this book, and it's called Living You. Poem says, "Oh, to sip a day of your water, a mere note of your song to sing, to breathe only an ounce of your air. Let me, I pray, live you but for a day. To dance in the path that you despise, to find no fault in the thing that you criticize, to even see darkness in your eyes. Give me, I beg, the leftover of your wasted time. Time is what was taken. Life is what I lack, I love, I long for. Peace is what I pray for. Let's learn to sometimes see life from somebody else's perspective. So before I accuse you of not really impressing God, let me remind you that you actually have the stuff inside of you to the extent that you can cause God to smile every single time he looks at you. You have the stuff inside your heart. All right. I just wanted to give us a different perspective of that, because I know the quote says, if you really want to impress God with your giving, give him your heart. But I wanted to come from the perspective that sometimes we don't think our hearts are good enough, strong enough, beautiful enough to cause God to smile. We don't think that we have enough. We don't. We tend to see, because we've been indoctrinated to think that what's in my hand is more important than what's in my heart. We've led experiences that don't allow us to see that what's inside of my heart is more important than what's inside of my pants or under your skirts. That's life. All right. So I offer us the opportunity to see the beauty that is inside. All right. I want to go on to the quote for July the 23rd, right? Got to get to the quote for July 23rd. Many thanks to those of you who are just joining me and joining the chat. I appreciate you. And as a matter of fact, would you all do me a favor? Because I forgot to Tuesday say happy birthday to one of the fellow passengers. So if you haven't had a chance to do so yet, you all please say happy belated birthday. She's always here in the chat, always here with us. Make sure that you say a happy birthday to Audrey Winfrey. I call her lady. She's here in the chat. Make sure. So that's my shout out to you. Happy birthday, my friend and cousin. All right, July 23rd, I want to get to that quote. July 23rd, the quote says, you will never see the beauty in God's word until you open your eyes and the pages. You will never see the beauty in God's word until you open your eyes and the pages. How many of you have ever heard the quote, you can't see the forest for the trees? Anybody? How many of you have ever heard that? You can't see the forest for the trees. Here's the thing. That particular quote is talking about our inability to sometimes see the big picture because we are so nearsighted. It's what we call myopia or myopic. We're so nearsighted and we're so focused on the here and now until we don't see the big picture. We only see what is within our immediate reach. So what I'm trying to get us to see with my quote is that there are times when we don't even see what's within our immediate reach. We miss the opportunity to live in the beauty of the promises that are spoken over our lives because we don't know what those promises are. Promises that call us blessed. Promises that call us masterpieces. Promises, you all, that call us more than conquerors. Promises that say, we are the apple of the Creator's eyes. I think that for some of us, our life experiences can be so dark and so abysmal until we've been navigating life, fighting to survive, struggling to maintain, all with our eyes closed because we were afraid of what our realities might look like if we opened them. But I believe, you all, I believe that if we sometimes could just see the small pictures, if we could just see the small pieces, we would believe that the bigger picture is possible. Let me say that again. In my heart, I believe that if we sometimes could at least see the small pieces, we would believe that the bigger picture is possible. If I just see a small piece of the puzzle, I believe that the whole picture is possible. So I want to offer us, I'm always about offering us. I want to offer us the power to open our eyes. That's my offering to all of us this evening, the power and the ability, the privilege and the right to open our eyes. I think this may be my friend Tilly Williams' first time, so make sure that y'all do a shout out to Tilly Williams. Thank you so much for joining. We are better because you're along this journey with us. All right. The power to open our eyes, you all. The right and the privilege to open our eyes is what I want to offer us tonight. I think that if we can just see the door, we can believe the house is possible. If we can just see a steering wheel, we can believe that the car is possible. If we can just see them to the first day of kindergarten, we can believe that college is possible. I believe if we can see the rain, we can believe that new life is possible. If we can see the sunshine, we can believe that a new day, new dreams, new possibilities all abound just beyond the horizon. Just look for the small pieces. That's all I'm trying to offer us tonight, the ability to open our eyes and see the small pictures. If you see the small pictures, you'll dream the big dreams. Good God Almighty. If you can see the small pieces, you'll dream the big dreams. Because I believe that if we can see just a pinch of light in darkness, we would believe that a new day is possible. And I believe that if we can see an ounce of beauty in ourselves, then we will believe that better is possible. That's why we're here every Tuesday and Thursday, trying to share this space, you all, so that we can see an ounce of beauty and believe that better is possible. Some of us don't see the beauty. We don't see the value. We don't see the gifts. We don't see the promises in ourselves. Why? To no fault of our own, but sometimes it's because no one has ever told us that they see it in us. And sometimes you all know this, if they did see it, guess what? They were so intimidated by it until they called us so many other things that they tried to distract us from seeing it. I offer us the ability to refocus, open our eyes and see what's within. I love sharing these quotes, you all. I absolutely love sharing these quotes and these affirmations. But I also believe sometimes that what an affirmation won't do, a demonstration will. So just before we go, I want to offer you this demonstration. Now, I'll tell you the demonstration. You can tell me if you all will follow through with it, if you'll do it. But I want to offer you this demonstration because these are affirmations. And sometimes I get it. Sometimes we go throughout the week, we go throughout the day. That's why I gave one for every day. But sometimes we forget our affirmations. But a demonstration will sometimes remind us so clearly of a thing, of a concept, of an idea, of a hope, of a dream, of a promise. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to get a cup and write your name on it. And then I want you to fill it with water and put it someplace where you can see it every single day, maybe even until we come together this time next Thursday, all right? And each time you walk by it, I want you to remember, you all, that just as that cup is filled with water, so is your life filled with the promises of God. I want you to remember that. I want you to do it. So here's what I did. I got a cup, wrote my name on it. I filled it with water, and I'm going to keep it here on the desk in my office. Because I'm going to remember that just as that cup is filled with water, so is my life filled with the promises of God. And as normally and naturally happens because of the rule of science and evaporation, just in case the water gets low before we meet next Thursday, I'm going to refill it. And I want you to do the same. I want you to do the same thing. Refill it and remind yourself that sometimes your cup runs over to compensate for the days when the levels sometimes seem low. I want to thank you all so much for spending these 1,800 seconds with me. I've tried to offer you a piece of my heart, a space from some of my greatest convictions. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to chat in a space where we can share time and try to get better. Let me just do a quick recap so we know what we've talked about. Maintain your connection. Listen, you all, stop trying to be, somebody said I've taken the cape off and I'm focusing on me. Absolutely. Maintain your connection to God and maintain your connection to yourself. Avoid the distractions and recharge yourself. And then we talked about if you really want to impress God with your giving, give him your heart. And we said sometimes people don't even realize or recognize that they have a heart worth giving. I said you're worth fighting for. You're worth fighting for. Learn to see the beauty inside of you. And then thank you, Wendy. I'm glad you like that demonstration, my friend. And then understand this. You'll never see the beauty in God's word until you can open your eyes. Open your eyes. Open your eyes and see that you are filled with the promises of God. Would you all do that? Thank you so much. I've offered you poetry, and I think I will do something. Let's see. I'm going to close by sharing one more poem. I know I tend to share one or two and just call it a day, but I want to share this one with you. People sometimes don't see the beauty in you because they've not learned to see the beauty in themselves. Sometimes people see the beauty in you, but they are so intimidated by it until they call you everything else to try to distract you from seeing it. But I want you to see it. And then what I want you to recognize is that those who don't see it, they're just tripping. They're just tripping. So I want to share this poem with you. It's called Post-Processing. And then we'll go. I kept thinking and thinking. What just happened? I'm thinking. I know what's happening. I'm tripping. It's over and I'm still thinking. I'm thinking about how you dragged me through the mud and I got cleaner and cleaner. I'm tripping over how your grime and your grit scraped away the unnecessary layers, peeled me like an onion, but I didn't cry. I'm still thinking that maybe I'm tripping. It's all over and I'm thinking about how you pushed me over the edge, over the limit, overboard, and I got drier and drier. I'm tripping over how the salt water purified my blemished soul, lifted me and caused me to rise to the top, but I didn't drift away. I'm still thinking that maybe I'm tripping. It's all over and I'm thinking about how you hurled me against a brick wall and time slowed down. I'm tripping over how strength stroked the sweat off my brow, delivered resilience to the palm of my hand, and I bounced back. And now I'm thinking maybe you are tripping. I want to say thank you all. Listen, for these 18 and plus 100 seconds that you all have been with me. Thank you for this journey, for being fellow passengers. Do me a favor, you all. Let's keep on maintaining connectivity. Let's keep on building community. Keep your heads up, keep your hopes up. And that's why we're here every Tuesday and Thursday at this time to renew our hope and to recharge ourselves. You all, there's a pandemic out there. Make sure that you stay safe. Don't let people drive you crazy. Stay sane. And please know that from my heart to yours, there is and always will be so much love. Good night, all. Until next Tuesday at 8 o'clock.